The American Heart Association recommends 2,300 milligrams of sodium or less per day for everyone, and optimally no more than 1,500 milligrams sodium per day, especially for those with high blood pressure. All kinds of salt, sea salt, kosher salt, iodized salt, this is a pink Himalayan sea salt, have about the same amount of sodium, about 2,300 milligrams per teaspoon, which exceeds the limit for effective blood pressure control. The majority of the sodium that the typical American eats comes from processed foods like American cheese, lunch meat, sandwich bread, and bottled condiments such as ketchup, mustard, and barbecue sauce. For canned foods, washing the contents well in a colander for 20 to 30 seconds can remove sodium by 40%. This can be a helpful strategy for people with limited resources who cannot always access fresh foods. There are low salt and no salt added canned vegetable options available, but if you don't have that option, you could just rinse the vegetables under water to remove 40% of the sodium. The vast majority of sodium in the U.S. diet comes from processed foods and high sodium ingredients added during the cooking process. In contrast, salt added at the table comprises only a small fraction of sodium consumed. As a reminder, 1 teaspoon of salt contains 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Although these ingredients displayed here are not as high in sodium as regular salt, you will see that many of them come close. For example, a beef bouillon cube contains over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. There are alternatives to bouillon, but they can still be quite high in sodium, such as Better Than Bouillon, which still has 680 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon. Other commonly used ingredients include meat tenderizers, seasoning salt, and garlic salt, which contain between 1,000 to 1,600 milligrams per teaspoon. Old Bay seasoning and Greek seasoning are also popular items and can provide more than 500 milligrams and 900 milligrams of sodium respectively. Lastly, you may recall that bread products contribute significantly to sodium intake. This is because baking soda, which contains 600 milligrams per teaspoon, is commonly used in baked items such as muffins, pancakes, and cookies. Here are a few other ingredients which contain under 500 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon. Based on the amount used, you can see how these items might also easily lead to excessive sodium intake. One common misperception about green label soy sauce is that it's low sodium. Less sodium soy sauce has nearly 200 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon and has only 110 milligrams of sodium less per teaspoon than regular soy sauce. Dry rubs, meat seasonings, and condiments for meats can contain a wide range of sodium, so it's best to check the labels. Baking powder has slightly less sodium than baking soda, but it still contains 480 milligrams per teaspoon. Like baking soda, it's also found in many bread products. Hot sauce and salsas can be one area where the common amount eaten is well over 1 serving. For example, Frank's Red Hot Sauce has nearly 20 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon, but contains 71 servings per bottle. Depending on the population you work with, you might find it necessary to probe further into consumption of these types of foods to identify any hidden sources of sodium. The OU Culinary Medicine Program prefers the use of Tabasco, chili paste, and sriracha because they tend to contain less sodium per serving but still provide a spicy kick of complex flavor. Finally, a very common mistake patients make is replacing salt with garlic salt. A teaspoon of garlic salt contains over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. In contrast, garlic powder, granulated garlic, and fresh garlic are sodium-free. So, what options are there for infusing healthy recipes with flavor? Watch our short series on cooking with acids and herbs and spices to see.